Good evening, everyone. Wish you a happy Diwali. This is a session about developing Spring Boot applications using Repl.it. Repl.it is a online platform. So I'll just share. Repl.it is available in this URL. You see Repl.it.com. If you are not registered, you have to log in. You have to register and create an account. Otherwise, you can simply log into your Repl.it environment. What Repl.it provides? Repl.it provides an online coding environment which you can run in your browser. You don't need to install anything on your local computer. You can access it via any browser like Chrome and build any application. So when you create a Repl is like a virtual machine, but you will also get a code editor using which you can code in many languages. Here my favorites are Java, HTML, CSS, React. You can also develop Python applications, Node.js based applications, and a variety of other environments are also available here. But what is missing is no Java Spring Boot environment is available. So in this video I'll be demonstrating how you can run a Spring Boot application using a Repl.it environment. I have been struggling with live streaming with YouTube. Couple of times I hosted the session, but somehow the live streaming did not happen. So I am just sharing you what I did in my sessions and how you can replicate my project and create a Spring Boot project by yourself. So few things, I'm just introducing myself. I'm Tarun Telang. I'm the author of the book Learn Microservices with Spring Boot 3. This is an upcoming book which will be very soon in the market. It is already available in Amazon for pre-booking. Here I'll be covering about Spring Boot in depth. I'll be also sharing about various best practices around microservices. This is co-authored by me and both of ourselves are very experienced Spring Boot developer, and we have shared based on our experience. We have decades of experience working in large projects, and we have shared event-driven architecture approach. We have shared various cloud native patterns and best practices around containerization in this book. So this will provide you all the stuff which you need to build Java based microservices using Spring Boot framework. Or if you are migrating your project from monolith to a microservices, this will also help you, and we'll be covering latest technologies. This book is based on the code Java 17, and also we have used Jakarta EE10 and various frameworks, latest frameworks. Right? Definitely. We'll be also giving you some idea about how you can integrate React based application, how you can run your Spring Boot application on the cloud, and how do you do test driven development and behavioral driven testing using Cucumber. So you get everything which is required to build a production quality microservices covered in this book. So you can read about this in detail in this book. But yes, let's get back to the topic, which is how to run a Spring Boot application in Repl.it. So I introduced you about Repl.it. What you have to do is you have to create a Java project. You create a Java project. You can give some name. Right, so I'll give some name here. I will say Java Spring Boot 3, and I will also say Maven. This is just for your reference. I click create. You see a Java project is created. I just named it Spring Boot, but yes, it is what contained inside this project is just a Hello World application, which you can just run by clicking on the run button. You see a online editor, you have a file browser on the left, and you will also see a editor with syntax highlighting and code formatting. You can expand and hide some code segments as well, and on the right side you see the console output for this. So this is a simple Java editor, but here no, we are planning to develop Spring Boot application, which is a web application. So we will need to do some modification to this project, and now I will share you how you can do Spring Boot based application development using this environment. So to create a Spring Boot project, I'll use a standard approach, which is we go to start.spring.io or the Spring Initializr tool. And in this tool, what you can do is you can define the structure of your project. So we will use Maven project, because in Repl.it you get Maven, and you can do no other development as well, but in this video particularly I will be talking about Java and Maven based development, because this is relatively easier with less configuration required. And you can choose Spring Boot version. I have chosen the latest stable release 3.1.5, and then you can put some group ID, fill up all other information as per the project which you want to generate, right? So for in this case I am planning to cover some sample applications which is discussed in the book. So we'll say microservices.book is my group ID for the project, and then artifact I'll say multiplication. What I am planning to develop is a simple web application which will show to users two random numbers, and user would need to guess the product of these two numbers. This is what we will be covering in multiple sessions, but today we will just be seeing a very basic environment running, or a proof of concept that Spring Boot application could be run in this environment without any local installation. Now, so I have filled up the name of artifact. I will have to also modify the description. Not necessary, but for our convenience, it's a good practice. I'll say multiplication application, because our application is for multiplication of two products, and user has to guess and practice mental arithmetic. We'll choose packaging as jar, so that we can get a embedded Tomcat running on our system. We will also choose Java 17. This is by default available in the Repl.it environment. That's why I'm keeping Java 17. You can choose other versions as well, but yes, for this video we'll be using Java 17. Now I'm choosing other dependencies. Again, none of them I will be using, but just for proof of concept, not just for demonstration purpose. I'll be adding, say, Spring Web. I'll be adding Lombok. Lombok is a developer tool which generates boilerplate code. It helps you develop Java code faster. Many of you would be aware of it if you are already experienced Java developer. I'll be using Spring Web dependency, which is for building RESTful APIs, controllers which can respond to request, HTTP requests, and we can also build some basic web application using Spring Web, and it uses Apache Tomcat as the embedded application server. I can also add bean validation dependency, which is, if you are connecting to database, then you can validate the data using this dependency. But yes, none of the dependencies we are using. This is just for demonstration purpose. Now, next thing what you can do is you can generate. When you generate, this project will be downloaded to your system, right? You can explore it also, and when you explore it, you can see the files which will be generated from this project. What is interesting is the Java code. Here you can open it. There's also a kind of a online code viewer. Here you see this is the Java code which will be generated, and we can also investigate POM file. This is the POM file which will be generated, right? If you are happy with this code, you can say download, and this will download the jar file to your local environment, right? So this is step 1 for building a Spring application, or rather step 2. Step 1 was to create a Java REPL, which we did already, get a hello world application. But yes, now we have to replace this project with the one which we generated right now, right? So I'll click on download. It will download the jar to my local repository, local system. So yes, let's go back to Spring Starter, Spring start.spring.io web application, or Spring Initializr application, which is what it is called. This is the URL. Make a note, I'll add this in the description of this video. When you click download, it will download this to your local folder. Yes, so this I already downloaded it once, but yes, no problem. I will download it again. So I see here the code has been downloaded, right? So that's very simple step. As of now, no technical expertise is required, very easy to follow. You will be seeing here not all the files, because you may have only few files which is visible. But yes, first what we do is let's delete these files. I'll delete the main Java which was generated by default by Repl, and I will also delete the POM, because now we have got the new source code and new POM file. So what we have downloaded now, we'll copy it and place it. So we'll copy this pom.xml. We have to ensure that we are copying everything to the root folder, because this is what environment to run the project, right? Now next thing is I have to copy the remaining source files. So this is only two things which I have to do. So now I have to copy the source folder. Source folder I'll just drag from my file explorer to my browser window. See, it's so easy. It's almost like, very I need to just ensure that I'm copying it to the root folder. So this is, I think this is my root folder. I keep it, I drag it, and it is copied, right? The entire structure of folder has been copied. So you see here, all the subfolders have been copied, and files within subfolders have also been copied. And in this case, only one file was there, which was this application, which is multiplication application. This is a Spring Boot application. Yes. Now you can't run it like a console application. This is a web application, because this is Spring Boot application. So some more steps are required. Now we already did few steps, like we've added the POM file. We also added the source code, but this button behavior we have to change, because if you click here, it will just compile the source code and we'll try to run it as a console application, which is not what we want, right? We will not get the desired outcome, because it will not know what is a Spring Boot application. So it's giving some error. Just ignore it. Now, how does this REPL environment work? So I'll show you some hidden files, right? By clicking on the option. So I can click on these three dots, then click on show hidden files. then you will see that there are some config files, right? You see here on the right. I'll try to zoom it up, yeah, because so that will can be visible. So there is in the background, this Repl.it environment is powered by NixOS. NixOS is a package manager, something you can say close to, a container or a Docker environment. But yes, it's a kind of a small footprint or operating system which is capable of running our development environment. So NixOS, you can learn more about this from this site. I'll not be covering this in much detail in this video. So you see here, this is the configuration of NixOS, right? So it has some packages. Let me expand this so that you see it in one line. The packages which are included by default in our environment is Graal VM 17. So what is this Graal VM? Graal VM again is an operating system, is a virtual machine, not operating system, is a virtual machine, and this is a virtual machine from Oracle, and it is capable of running Java very efficiently with very high performance and less resource consumption. It runs your code multiple times faster, and it is very resource efficient. You can learn more about Graal VM. I have a full course on Graal VM. This is published by Orally Media. So I will share you my courses also so that you can go through. I'll not be covering in this video details about the Graal VM. But yes, you see here, if you go to Graal Orally Media website, you and search with my name, Tarun Telang, you will see list of all the courses and books I have written. So I have written books on enterprise Java. This is Java EE to Jakarta EE 10 recipes. It covers all the Java EE technologies, almost all the standards, important standards, as per the latest version of Java EE, which is now called Jakarta EE 10. I've also written a book on cloud native development using Microprofile framework, which is another framework similar to Spring Boot, but it's more modern, and it is designed for building cloud native applications. And then I have also created few videos, and one of the important video is building high performance Java 17 applications using Graal VM native image. This video you can watch to know more about Graal VM. Graal VM is very interesting programming language using which you can do polyglot development. That means you can write code which can be written in multiple languages. There are a lot of interesting things which you can do. You can go to the video and learn more about it. If you have any queries or simple queries or small queries or something you want to know more about, you can share in the comments for this video. So yes, we have Graal VM 17. Now you know what is Graal VM 17. C stands for Community Edition. You have Maven package. You have JDT language server. This is for the code editor, syntax highlighting and debugging features. There is Java debug package as well. So in the NixOS site, you can see what all packages are there. Any more package if you have to introduce, you can search and you can put, say for Spring Boot, if we want to add some packages, are there any packages? I see, yeah, there is a Spring Boot client package also, but for now we are not including it. But yes, you should be aware that there can be many packages which you may include in the Nix OS. Just add these packages and you will get these installed when your REPL environment will be initiated. But yes, we're not covering that. We don't need more packages. I am sharing you an approach which is very simple and straightforward. So this is good enough. This is just for your information. But yes, we have to modify this behavior of run button. So what you have to do is you have to change this instruction. This instruction is for compiling Java code for regular console application. For Maven application, Spring Boot in particular, you will have to run mvn install, because you see when we are running just the compiler, there were some dependencies, packages which was not there. They need to be installed and they will be installed from Maven repository. So the compile command is mvn install. Then for running this, you need the command mvn spring boot run. This is the command for running the Spring Boot application. This is again Maven command. So these are the two changes which you have to do. Then few other changes. Here you don't have the entry point as main.java. We have changed the source code. Now this main file is called multiplication application dot java, right? And this is within the package microservices book.multiplication. So you have to put fully qualified name here. So I'll replace this with multiplication, and I'll also append the package name, because this is how the file is placed in the project, right? So entry point we have modified, so we will be able to run the correct file when we click on the run button. Now the behavior of run button is changed as per this configuration. And few more places are there where main is being referenced. For example, here we'll change it with the name of our main class, which is microservices.book.multiplication.multiplication application. And we'll do the same here as well. Once you are done with this, this is a cloud environment, REPL environment. You don't need to save anything. Automatically every changes are saved. Now your project is ready. Now when we run, by clicking on the run button, your Spring Boot application will be executed, right? So let's see what's happening. First, it should start downloading the dependencies, right? So let's see. Yes, so it's scanning the project. It's downloading from the central Maven repositories all the jars, right? Now it is using the behavior of mvn install. In few minutes you should see build success. If you will be doing this in your local machine, few things you would have to do. First is you would need to install an IDE. You can do it from command line also, but for code editing, syntax highlighting, etc., you will need some IDE. For example, you may use Eclipse, you may use NetBeans, you may use IntelliJ. But yes, all these editors, they will take around 1 GB of space in your local hard disk. Then you will be running the mvn install command either through the IDE or through your terminal window, and it will download these packages to your local machine. So this will take almost like 1.5 GB space of your hard disk. It's not a big deal, but when you are developing multiple projects, it will be multiple GBs, tens of GBs. This may make difference. Another thing is, when you are running the IDE, building all this, you will be needing the CPU resources, and your RAM memory also will be utilized. Your machine may become a little bit slow. So doing this in virtual machine like this Repl.it helps, because while you are building the application, however complex it is, you are not burdening the resources of your local machine. Here you are provided with the virtual environment where you have some CPU and RAM, and you have around 10 GB of storage as well available. So you can write a lot of code, so don't have to worry about space, and your CPU and RAM are good enough. You want more capabilities, you want faster compilation, you can boost. This is a paid feature by joining Repl.it Pro. But yes, for simple project, simple application development, playing around with a lot of scenarios, no, you don't need this, right? So you are free to try out the free environment. This is decent enough. I'm using the free environment itself. Now you see build success. Next step is it is running the code. So it will be compiling a lot of packages, framework related code, and then it will be initializing the Spring Boot container. And then you see here the logs, right? So here it says starting multiplication application using Java 15, Java 17, and yes, one by one all these steps are done, and then completed initialization, and finally you will see that in few seconds that your application should be started. Right now it uses Tomcat web server. This is embedded Tomcat web application server which will be running our code, and then you have the framework servlets which are running. Let me reduce the size so that we can see the messages in a clearer format. Yes. So you see here, after a while, completed initialization, Tomcat started on port 8080. It started multiplication application. It took, so this is our application has been started. It also opened a web view here. If it does not, then you can open the web view by yourself by clicking on this plus button at the top. And when you click here, you can choose web view. Not here. I think the web view you can click. Yeah. Right, so you will see various options. Yeah, if you play around, you will be able to figure out. Yeah, here is the web view which you can use to open another web view. Right, so I got a web view, but we would like to run a browser to see what is the output of our application. From console we see that yes, application is running, but if you would have created some code and which would have some UI component or some request response handling is there, then better to verify it in browser. So to verify it in browser, you can click on this new tab button. It'll open a new browser with the server URL. Now your question would be, how would you know what is the URL of the server at which my application is running? So the answer is there is a format. So one is you have the project name. In my case, I kept it Java Spring Boot 3 Maven, and then my username Repl.co. So this is how your server path is created. And port is 8080, which is the default port, so you don't have to enter it. You could enter it also, but it's optional, because if you don't provide it, this is the default port, and this is the default output which you will see when you run the application. So this verifies that our application is running, and we have not added any code, so it is not showing anything useful enough. But yes, in later sessions we'll be adding more code, but for today we got our Spring application running, right? So you see here, this is still running. If I stop, you will see the output is not shown, right? And if I refresh this after stopping it, you'll not see this same response, because now the server has been stopped, right? So it will time out. So it's trying to connect to the server, but since the server has stopped, it will time out soon, right? So to restart it, you can run it again. Otherwise you will see that there is a server unavailability and you will not see the response. So this proves that what I'm showing was from this particular Repl code only, right? So do remember about the path which is being used here. This is the project name, then your username for Repl environment. This is what you will be registering to Repl environment. I'll be sharing you the link to register to the Repl environment. And yeah, now you see the request has been timed out and you see an internal error. And then you see this Repl.co is the domain in which you are running, and 8080 port is optional. So hope you now have all the information to start playing around with Spring Boot. If you have any questions, post it in the comments of this video. I'll be happy to answer them all. And let me know what more you would like to know. I will be happy to share these information to you. All the best. Have a nice day ahead.